We all have to start somewhere. My name is Michael and I've been a magician for a long time, but I still have memories of those early years where I was learning and performing magic. And so I want this to be two things for you if you're a new magician. One, I want it to be challenging. It's good to have a little bit of challenge to spark us to learn and grow and be disciplined in whatever we're learning, even if it's a hobby like magic. But I also want to encourage you. Whenever we're trying something new, it can be daunting and we feel like, gosh, everybody's already learned this, or everybody's already an expert, or gosh, this is hard to do and approach people. So I hope this will be the right combo of challenging and encouraging for you. And at the end of the day, I hope it's practical. So let's get into these 5 tips for new magicians. Yes, I'm framing it as 5 mistakes you might be tempted to make as a new magician. But like I said, I hope you can actually use these so they'll come with tips along the way. So number 1 is just a brutal reality. You might not be practicing enough. So you might be giving into the temptation of, oh my gosh, I've learned this secret. This secret is so cool. Okay, I can do it pretty good. Let's go do it. To be honest, even all these years later, I still often make that mistake, especially when I'm really excited about a trick. So there's nothing wrong being excited about a trick. I think that's a lot of fun and just a genuinely enjoyable thing, but don't shortcut your practice with that excitement. So be practicing in front of the mirror, and if you can, in front of camera. And something really helpful for me that I learned as a magician is to not just learn the techniques, right? Don't just go through the techniques, don't just go through the moves, but also go through what you're gonna say and when you're gonna say it. Now, part of your practice is those early performances, but before you even get to that first performance of a trick to someone in person, you wanna make sure you've practiced well enough in front of the mirror and on camera if you can, so that you really can amaze people when you start performing it in real life. I believe I saw Aaron Fisher talk a long time ago as well about the conditions you perform in. So if there's a mismatch between how you practice and how you perform, is there a way you can bring the reality of your performance into your practice? So for example, I like being neat and tidy. I like being clean. I like setting my cards on my performance mat. I like using slightly newer cards. But then when you're in your performance moment, you might have people handling the cards and they're immediately a little stickier. You might not have the close-up mat in performance. What are you gonna have? Where are you gonna set your cards if you can't set them down on a close-up mat, but you do wanna avoid the condensation ring of a glass of water someone set down? So thinking through those realities and where you're going to place things, and also the conditions of your props, maybe allowing yourself to practice with a slightly older deck so that you're ready for when you perform to people in real life. Mistake number 2, that is both a challenge and I hope an encouragement, is being too scared to perform and not performing enough. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge you. If you're a hobbyist magician and you're performing when you want, perform when you want. But if it's for reasons of fear, or you really would like to, but you're just too scared, you need some things to help you get over that fear hump. So I actually have a dedicated video about how to approach people as a magician. So if you want more tips on this specific one, be sure to check that out. But in the meantime, just know that those first times performing will be scary. So be asking yourself how you can overcome that fear. Some suggestions. Are there safe people in your life who you know that it won't be the end of the world if you perform the trick poorly to them? This is where we get the stereotype of, I always performed to my mom before I performed to anyone. That was definitely true for me too. I performed to a lot more of my, we'll say, nuclear family before I started to perform at school, right? But that was crucial. That was helpful. We all need cheerleaders. We all need people who love us and who are encouraging us in our interests. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel embarrassed about that. And those can be helpful testing grounds. So if you're trying those tricks out on the people that it's low stakes, you know they love you, and it'll be okay if you mess up a trick on them. Getting through that and getting more used to performing will eventually help you try it out on maybe then your friends, maybe some of your closer friends, so you're getting into it more and more, and then you'll be able to start to perform to more people. And if you've taken tip number 1 to heart of practicing enough, and then you're also performing scalingly to more and more people, this will get easier and easier as you go along. Number 3 is not having enough tricks prepared. You want to make sure that if you've finally gotten this opportunity to perform to people, you actually have enough to give to them if you're given that opportunity. So for me, I would suggest 3 to 5. I'm definitely not the first to have said that. Things going in 3s, just psychologically, you have a beginning, middle, and end. But I don't remember who said it, but there's this sage magician quote of like, I would rather know 5 tricks really well than 50 tricks in a mediocre way. If you're able to perform 5 tricks really well, that's great. So bringing that back to tip 1 of your preparation, think through what is your beginning, middle, and end, and how do they link together? How am I going to get into the first one, then transition into the second one, and then transition into the third one? But make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready to actually do multiple tricks back to back to back. You've thought of your props, where they're going to go, so that you are ready and you're not fumbling around and you have enough material to give to people when they want to see magic from you. If you're enjoying this video, subscribe to the channel to become a part of the Hobbyist Magic Club. And if you want to dive even deeper, consider joining my free Patreon membership or picking up some merch from the store. Number 4 is ironically on the other side of the coin from number 3. Of course, you do want to have enough content prepared. You do want to have enough tricks to do to people if you have that opportunity. As a magician, as a learning magician, it's a mistake to not know when to stop. So you're into magic, you love magic, people like watching magic to a certain degree, but at some point, it's not their passion, it's not their hobby, it's yours. And so don't show them 50 tricks, especially if it's a casual moment where they're not in the mood for 50 tricks. So know when to stop, and I think I heard this from Alex Pandrea, maybe even stop early enough that you leave them wanting more. So if you end your set of magic tricks, maybe it's those 3 tricks we talked about in the previous tip, if you end it and they're excited and you've brought it full circle, but they're still wanting more, that might actually be the perfect place to leave it. So don't belabor the point. Don't give them trick after trick after trick, every trick you've ever learned in your life. Give them that full set, round it out well, but leave them wanting a little bit more, and then they might ask you to perform again later. So it's okay to deny their requests for further tricks or doing it again or whatever it may be. And last but not least, the last mistake that a lot of magicians can make, especially new or learning magicians, and I hope this one can be an encouragement to you, the mistake is that you beat yourself up too much about a performance. So listen, when it comes to any hobby like this one, or any creative work, or just you and anything you're passionate about, it can be very easy to beat yourself up. But listen, you got out there, you had the courage to do something hard, to try to give someone a fun experience, and you're trying to get better. You're trying to practice and learn. So do assess performances. You might even want to take a performance journal. I think that could be really helpful. So you've performed to someone. What went well? What didn't go so well? Why didn't it go well? And what can be improved for next time, or what that did go well can be leveraged for next time. This applies to a lot in life, not just magic. As a creative person, I feel tied to this magic performance I'm giving you, and it really almost feels like I'm giving you a nugget of myself sometimes, like, here I am, what do you think? But maturity looks like actually finding that truthful detachment between you and that creative or performative thing you've done. So you are sharing a piece of yourself, but you have to realize that magic trick isn't you. If it wasn't for someone, that's okay. That might be something you can do better next time, but maybe it's not even something you need to think about. So don't beat yourself up about a performance that didn't go well. Learn to grow and get more mature in viewing it as separate from yourself. That was just a trick. That's not you. If they didn't like that, doesn't mean they don't like you. Just look at it as a performance, as a product, as a little thing you put together, and it's not you. They're not upset with you. Just look at the trick and look at how you can do it better next time. This will help you become a professional. Even if you're a hobbyist, it'll help you treat yourself like a professional, someone who is mature and growing and who can handle those things. I get this from The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, and he talked about it in the realm of writing books, but I think it applies to a lot of things, even something like performing a magic trick. So I hope that was helpful for you, whether you're new to magic or not. These are 5 mistakes we can all be tempted to make, and I hope these practical steps helped you consider how to practice and perform better, and also reflect on your performances better so you can keep enjoying magic and you can give enjoyable magic to others. So what are tips you would have, or what were things that you made mistakes in as a new magician that you have advice for others about? Let me know in the comments below. Keep enjoying your magic. Stay a hobbyist at heart. That means enjoying the magic, because magic is the best hobby out there. Be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you guys in the next video.